a lot more transition time. We want to get through. Our topic today is prison overpopulation and its effects as well as possible solutions.
There is no doubt that prison overcrowding is a very serious problem in modern America. While America has about 5% of the world's population, it actually has about 25% of the world's prisoners. Prison populations in 2007 were 8 times what they were in 1970s. Additionally, according to Timothy Heathy, the U.S. General Attorney for West Virginia, 1 in every 100 Americans is in prison. Something has to be done about this serious problem, the major causes of which are the war on drugs and a lack of mental health institutions in America. The war on drugs in recent decades has filled prisons with people who have committed low-level drug offenses and other small crimes. A lack of American mental health institutions have led to the imprisoning of people with serious mental health issues as opposed to their institutionalization. When these drug abusers and when these drug abusers and mental degenerates, when these drug abusers and mentally ill prisoners are released, more than half of them return because they did not receive necessary treatment. This leads to overcrowding of prisons, which in turn leads to budget cuts. These budget cuts and excess prisoners prevent prisons from implementing successful drug and mental health treatment. It's a vicious cycle.
Prison overcrowding has produced negative and unethical effects. Budget cuts and facility overpopulation means that prisoners receive low quality or non-existent health care. Prisoners also tend to have higher rates of communicable diseases such as HIV and AIDS, and often don't get the medical treatment they need. In one instance, a female inmate had an induced emergency C-section and her wound was not stitched shut and was left open. 2 weeks later, the prison medical staff used packets of sugar, such as those you might find at McDonald's or Starbucks, and poured them into her wound to fight a gruesome infection that had formed. This procedure using sugar had not been considered a valid medical practice since the invention of penicillin in 1928. Additionally, unnecessary and unwanted sterilizations of female inmates have also become common practice, due to a lack of supervision and control in the overburdened administration. Some prisons have been converted from federal to private institutions, and with this, more ethical issues have arisen. Privatized prisons have demonstrated little regulation, such as in the case of a private juvenile detention known as the Walnut Grove Youth Facility, when there were at times only 2 guards employed to supervise over 130 inmates. There were also numerous cases concerning general misconduct, extreme gang affiliation, and sexual as well as physical abuse within the institution. The same year Walnut Grove was shut down for its horrific conditions, GEO, the company that owned and operated the prison, made a $284 million profit. Privatized prisons are utilized by the government as a shoulder to lean on because of overcrowding. Additionally, it is believed that they may cost less to the government and to taxpayers, but there is little information on those economic differences.
Conservatives and liberals, 2 major political parties in America, are infamous for disagreeing on just about everything. In the past, both parties have disagreed on the causes and the solutions to prison overcrowding, but recently they have miraculously come to a basic agreement. Both parties believe that the U.S. needs to reduce the number of prisons, institute new programs for drug abusers and other lesser criminals, and heighten the institution of rehabilitation programs. This will reduce the amount of spending on prisons, a conservative issue, and bring more social justice to prisons, a liberal concern.
To deal with financial crisis, some prisons have been turned over to the control of privatized prison facilities. While some experts believe that private prisons cost less, it is quite difficult to accurately determine how much cheaper they are due to differences in size, age, level of crowding, and inmate mix. Privatized prisons also make a profit off the number of prisoners, and there are issues with ethicality as discussed previously. However, this may be the best solution for taxpayers as it costs less. A different solution has also been implemented. California recently passed Proposition 47, which defelonizes simple drug offenses and other low-level nonviolent crimes. The money saved from this shift would be used to create more and better treatment programs for drug abusers and the mentally ill. A better mental health system in America would also greatly benefit this issue. These are the best solutions for prisoners as they ensure beneficial treatment to prevent readmission into prison. American prisons are rapidly filling with prisoners. The prison population has more than tripled since 1980. The overpopulation of prisons has a terrible effect on prisoner health and government funds, so something must be done about this issue. There is no perfect solution that is both cheap and beneficial to prisoners. Private prisons are cheaper, but measures such as Proposition 47 ensure better treatment for inmates. However, neither of these solutions is completely perfect, so America needs to conduct a comprehensive study on these options and create a solution that costs less but does not sacrifice prisoner welfare. Thank you.
All right, let's start with you, Francie. Can you talk to me a bit more about the solution? If you were to have the government do this comprehensive study, can you talk about who you think, what part of government should do this comprehensive study? How would it be set up? Like who would be on the committee, et cetera?
Unfortunately, I don't know a ton about government, but I think it would be best. I prefer the Proposition 47 measure because it really focuses on the inmates' welfare and ensuring beneficial treatment. I would ideally like to be like a separate committee to be created with like different conservatives and liberals, as Chris discussed, because they agreed, and different people who are educated about this topic to ensure better treatment, but also try to keep down the cost because one of the rising costs is a big issue in this problem.
Okay. Chris, if you had more time, what other research would you do on this topic? Like, did you feel like anything was missing in the limited time you had?
We didn't get to look at how individual states had dealt with it as much as I wanted to. Like, we came across some stuff like Prop 47 is a California-only amendment, whereas in Texas they had done some reforms that were like isolated in Texas. So I would have liked to see how different states had handled this prison reform and see how that could be implemented on a much wider scale.
Okay. And Sydney, what did you just consider adding into your presentation that you didn't, or what did you decide to leave out? And can you talk to me about why you guys did that?
Well, I think that we got pretty much all we wanted in there. I don't really think we have any regrets about it because we made an outline for what we wanted to talk about, and I think we got every point we wanted to speak on. So I think I wouldn't add or subtract anything from it.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.